Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be discussing about the tax in here. Take note that I cannot go deeper on this topic as I'm not an expert nor an accountant. Anyone can lodge their own tax provided that they know what they're doing. If you are unsure, there's always a tax agent that you can pay to do that on your behalf. Otherwise, you can actually jump into the website itself, and all the information is basically just in there. Or you can just scan a QR code of the ATO website, and it will just jump you straight to that. So the usual filing for the tax starts from the 1st of July and ends, or the due date is on the 31st of October. Site of ATO, just make sure that you are on the right website. Okay, and then when you're on the home page, you can just explore on these things, or you can go to the individual and you want to know everything about how to lodge and stuff. If you're basically new here in Australia and you want to apply for a TFN because you're in work and you have a working rights, then you go to this and just read through that. Okay, and then just click on Australian resident TFN application, just read through the eligibility and all. Just make sure, take note guys, that applying for TFN is free. It shouldn't ask you for an amount of money. If that does that, then you're on the wrong website. It's gonna be a scam. Okay, and the only reason that you can apply for a TFN is if you are already here in Australia. And actually, when you're applying for a TFN and you aren't here yet, or you're on an offshore and overseas, then you cannot apply for this. Okay, and then once you're done with the online application, they will send your TFN via post mail. All right, it will be sent and delivered to your home address in here in Australia. Or if for you, if online is a bit hard, then you can just go to the post office. And before we get started, please don't forget to hit subscribe button and the bell button to get an update with new videos uploaded in my channel. And please like, comment, and share. As a new employee, you will be asked to fill out a tax declaration form. This was the example of the paper form. Unfortunately, this is no longer downloadable but can be requested online. Just simply sign in to MyGov link and go to your linked ATO online services. Then from there, select the employment from the menu, or if you're a new employee, you just have to complete your tax file number declaration. I'll just highlight the part where it says there about the tax threshold. So it's in number 8. All right. So with number 8, you'll just have to click the yes if you are not currently claiming the tax-free threshold from another payer. Or if you are having two employers, but the first employer can only give you $10,000 annually and the next one can give you 8,000, then you can claim for the other or the second employer as well, so that you can get the whole 18,200 tax-free threshold in total. And if you are a foreign resident in receipt of an Australian government pension or allowance, then you can also tick yes. If all this condition does not apply to you, then just tick no. And also, you can tick no if you are on a working holiday maker visa. Claim tax-free threshold on 2 or more jobs. If you have multiple sources of income for more than one payer, you can only claim from one job. And so my advice is, if you are claiming it, you should nominate the threshold on the job that pays you the highest. Now, I actually don't know how is the computation when you claim for this, because you might still be seeing a tax deduction on your payslip. However, from my understanding, is that you get a lesser tax than what you were supposed to be taxed with until the tax threshold is reached. And then you'll see your tax percent increased after that. Now, the big question is, should I claim the tax free threshold or not? And which is better? Now, in my opinion, I will claim the tax threshold. Why? Because if you claim it, you can put the money in your savings account and that could earn an interest. All right? But if you opt not to claim it, it's still okay because you will get a tax refund by the end of the year, and it's like an instant savings for you. It's like saving your money that you cannot touch until it is refunded to you. This is just my example of why claiming a tax threshold is beneficial in a way that you can put the supposedly tax in your savings every pay and that you could potentially earn an extra 5% or above the interest rates. In here, we deposited it and let it stack up to earn higher interest. So by the end of the year, you'll be getting an extra $79 back. It may not be as high as you may think, but imagine if you can also apply this to the rest of your savings. Don't touch your money unless it is necessary. So just take note as well that it is an income that you generate in your bank. So it also attract a tax as well. If you don't claim the tax threshold, I think it's okay. It's a forced savings in a way that you are getting less each pay, but by the time that you lodge your tax, you'll expect a refund. So just check the arrow, the blue arrow in there. It's like $3,458 of worth of a refund for this type of, for example, a salary. Take note that this is not applicable to all. It varies. As per my next discussion, I'll discuss the tax table. Resident tax rates for year 2022 to 2023. And if you can see, there's a table there. If your taxable income goes up to 18,200, then you wouldn't have a tax, and so on. So we'll just explore that further so you'll easily understand this concept. Just give you the example, and this will be the tax. All right, and the net income you will have is this. So it means that we have already deducted tax in here. All right, so let's calculate. How did I came up with this figure? So let's go here. So if your earning is between 0 to 18,200, then you don't have tax at all. Hence, your earning on this year was 18,200 because you didn't get taxed. Now, in this bracket, between 18,000 to 201 to 45,000, let's say your earning was 40,000, it says here you will get taxed by 19 cents for each $1 over 18,200. So let's calculate that. All right, so in here 40,000 you're earning, you deduct 18,200 here, then you multiply that by 19 cents and you'll come up with 4,142. Now your income, which is 40,000, you deduct 4,142. All right, and that's gonna be your earning, your net income. So that's before tax, after tax, sorry. Let's say another one. We jump into this section. It says here, let's go to the tax part. It says here if you're going to be taxed by with 4,000 5,092 with an additional 32.5 cents for each $1 over 45,000. So it means 110,000 minus 45,000, and then you multiply that by 32.5%, and that will give you a tax of 26,217. Now your gross earning minus the tax, it will give you a net income of 83,783. All right, now hopefully you can catch with up with me now, guys. You know how to calculate this. So for example, if your earning is 150,000, then you will get taxed 29,467. Yeah, 29,400, sorry, 467. And then one you deduct 150,000 minus 120,000, and you multiply that by 37%. That will give you a value of 37,567 worth of tax. And hence your net income, you just deduct your before tax minus the tax, and I will give you about 112,433 net income. Now the last part. Let's say let's say that you didn't earn 195,000. Maybe it's just probably 188,000, right? But it's still over 180. So your bracket is still gonna be the same. Okay? So 51,667 plus 188,000, the difference of that minus 180,000. Oh, sorry guys. So minus 100, sorry about that. So 180,000. And then you multiply that by 45%. And your tax is going to be 55,267. So yeah, let's see. Yep. So 51,667 minus 188,000, your salary minus 180,000, because it says here, and then you multiply that by 45 cents, and that will give you, yeah, all right, that's a correct calculation. Now that this will be your net income. So you have expenses that is related to your work, and so you can claim that through the tax as well, which in later on we can deduct to your before tax income. Okay, so you can reduce the tax that will be deducted in your income. All right, so the example of a claimable work related expenses here, take note that everything that I'm presenting in here is also in the ATO.gov website. I'll provide the link in here as well, and I'll give you a QR code, so just in case you want to explore further, because in every occupation they have different items that they can claim based on the work that they are providing. And so because it is unique, not everyone can claim whatever it is in that specific occupation, right? So for example, if you're working at home, then you can claim for the phone, for the consumables of a computer. You have to take note as well that this one example is paper, ink, stationery, and folders. And for home office equipment, it should be for example, you bought a computer and it costs around $1,000. You cannot claim it instantly. You can only claim at the decline value of if it's greater than $300, or if the full cost of that is less than 300, then you can claim it on that year. Now for vehicle and travel expenses, this could be anyone that work requiring to attend multiple work occasions. So for example of that, I'm a nurse. If I'm working in a community, then I have to visit different patients in a different location, then I can claim for that as well. So I'm entitled to receive or to claim for the expense, or a car expense causing you to use your car to perform your duties. So that's the another example that I just gave you. And example as well, if you have to go to a certain place, for example it's an interstate, or you go to different state to perform your duty, then you can claim that accommodation, right? And then for clothing and laundry and dry cleaning, if you use that for your occupation related uniform, like work uniform or protective clothing, then you can claim for that as well. I think that's $300 and less. You have to give the receipt as well. And for education, all right, so if you're taking a course or conferences and seminar that is related to your occupation. So, for example, for nurses, if they attended a conference related to their specialty, like for oncology or for pediatrics, or if they have to pay for a certain courses, or they have to not work on that day because they had to attend that course, then they can claim for that. All right, they can claim the expenses for that. Now, for industry related deduction, my example for that is for nurses who are buying their own stethoscope or their own automatic little BP machine or blood pressure machine, or when they're buying their own fob watches because they need to always check the time when they're doing their vital signs, and some medical tools, sorry. Now, with other work related expenses, so again, I can only relate to my profession. So, for nurses, we do have our registration fees, and we have also a union or subscription to different associations. So, the cost that we use or we pay for that, we can claim for that as well. And for like buying safety goggles, especially um, during the COVID-19, we are always uh, enforced and mandatory to wear goggles, protect us from exposure from these um, viruses. All right. So we use this for like to avoid us from exposing ourselves to bloodborne diseases. Can be also for like if you buy books or digital subscriptions. If we had to buy a COVID-19 test because it is required for work. If we also have an income protection, or we paid a tax agent as well to prepare our own tax or to lodge it, because because not everyone can do their own tax, right? It's a bit complicated, so you can just you know I'm not telling anyone to um, make your like lodge your own tax, because it's quite complicated. So there are tax agents out there that can do that for you. I think they're charging around $70 or more, like $100, but you can claim the fees that you paid for that. But I think my sentiment in there is that like everyone was saying, yeah, you can claim it on tax, but I think the only part that you can claim on tax for that portion that you paid to the tax agent is the tax itself, not the whole amount. All right. So if you pay like $100 and your tax is 32%, so you're only basically getting a discount of $32, and the rest is what you just pay for your tax agent. Okay, OT meal as well. Those who did an overtime, they have an OT meals paid equivalent to that, and hence they can also, for example, pay that amount of money, and then they can claim it in tax. For gift or donation, I thought that this is applicable to everyone. Like if you give a donation to anyone, then you can claim it. But unfortunately, you can only claim that is something that is registered with deductible gift recipients. So you just have to search their ABN, and if you donated about for like over $2, then you can claim that as well. Now, for investment or income loss, unfortunately, if you incur like if you gain savings or interest in the bank, then that would add it to your income. Hence, it's not essentially a deduction to your tax, but it will add to the bracket that are you're at. If you have like investment properties or dividends or shares, you have to also take into account of all of that. Right now we have now when we go to this calculation later, if I'll give you an example in here. For example, I mean already a value to that, and for example the total value of the expenses is $10,309. All right, and then we go 10,309. So just calculate for everything. Okay. Okay. All right. Now, your before tax, like before our calculation, if your income is 11,000, then you are on this bracket. And so you can deduct these claimable deductions in there, and that will give you a before tax of 99,691. Okay, one topic that I did not explore further was the course fee that you can claim on work-related expenses, especially if the course that you are taking is for your career growth in the actual industry that you are at. So in my example, if you are currently working as an assistant nurse in an aged care facility or hospital and you are taking a course in diploma or bachelor's in nursing, then the course fee you paid for the course can be claimed just because you are taking the course to progress your career from being an AIN to EN or RN. So I think this video has been so long. I hope that I was able to help you figure out how the tax works here in Australia. If you stumbled on to like certain questions about tax, then you can just simply go to the ATO website and look onto the guidelines, or simply collect all your receipts that is related to your occupation, and you just go to an accountant and let them process your tax refund. um, Thank you, and thank you for watching this video. If you got questions about the Medicare levy or Medicare surcharge, I've also discussed this in my previous videos. I will provide the link above if you're interested. Just watching that. All right, see you. The ATO website also provided a tool for you to practice on your scenario, and so I provided the QR code for you to easily jump into that website in here, or you can just simply copy the link that I provided below. And so it will direct you into here. All right, I went ahead and put all the information that I think is just applicable. So if you are stuck on something and you don't know what to say, then there's a guideline here. Just click on that questionnaire icon. And so for me, for Medicare levy, you are exempted if you're not receiving any Medicare. For that would be someone that is not Australian or Australian permanent resident. Okay, no half and full is just basically, is it for the full year, half year, 6 months, or no? Because sometimes people can be, easily, like for example, in the duration of year, after 6 months they become a permanent resident, and so this one would be applicable for them. All right, and then we go ahead and say we calculate, and then that's how it's gonna look like. I think there's a part as well in here. Just go into the EDGO website and explore it further, because there's this one is just the example of it, but it hasn't discussed the deductible part. That means like the expenses that is related to your work that you can deduct, and there's a website for that, right? Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. I will make one in the future again, so just stay tuned.